my name's Babe, and today I'm going to be going over products that new Magic players should probably buy. Now what I mean by this is I'm not saying, oh, go buy this, don't buy that, no. I'm saying, as someone who not only has been playing Magic since Alara, but as someone who I managed a gaming store for 2 years. So I saw what worked, what didn't work. I know it worked for me. I saw what worked for others. And this is just sort of a compilation of what I think would be a good idea for new players to get into. Mainly because in a Magic group that I admin for, I see a lot of people asking what sort of products are good for Magic players to get into. Some people have been not playing for a long time and they want to get back into it. So I figured, why the hell not, I'll make this. Now, I am assuming for the first product is that you are playing alone. You don't have any other friends that are interested in playing with you. It's just you. The first product are intro decks. Intro decks are released every single set by Wizards. What they are is they are very simple decks. They come with a pre-built deck, obviously. They come with 2 booster packs. They also come with a little introduction to the game, rules, things like that. And while it's not the most competitive deck out there, this is good if you just want to get in casually, you don't want to go to FNMs or tournaments yet, you just want to learn the basics of the game before actually getting into it. The intro decks usually have themes. When Ravnica, or Return to Ravnica, Gatecrash, and Dragon's Maze came out, they had a bunch of different decks that coincided with the current guilds. But other decks, they're just color coordinated, they have a cool little rare on the front, and by looking at the rare on the front, you can get a good idea of what the deck style is going to be about. But if you want to know more about the intro decks, you can always go online and find deck lists for all these different decks, and you can decide which one suits you best. I found it's easier for players to get into Magic if they start out with a white or a green deck. A lot of players choose mill, but then they usually get discouraged because it takes a lot of skill to actually make a mill deck. Green and white decks, they are primarily creatures. There are some buffs, but it's not complicated. It's just put as many of your creatures out on the field as you can and hit them with it. It's not that all complicated as compared to something like Control or Devotion, something that requires a lot of forethought. You need to know quite a bit about the game, and so on. You get my drift. If you want something that's a little more competitive, say you just want to buy the deck, maybe add a few cards to it, and then go to an FNM, I would suggest an event deck. Wizards used to create 2 event decks every set, but they would always make one that was really good and one that was really shitty, and everyone would only ever buy the really good one, because why would they buy the shitty one? And so they just decided to scrap that idea, and now they just make one event deck a set. What that means is an event deck is something that is a pre-constructed deck. It comes with a 60-card deck, it comes with a 15-card sideboard, as well as a little spin-down die to count your life. Event decks, as they are properly named, are generally much more competitive than intro decks are. That means usually you can buy an event deck, go to an FNM, and you can do pretty damn well. I've seen it happen before on multiple occasions. If you are going to be getting into the game with a friend, I highly suggest using dual decks. As you can see, there are 2 different decks in each dual deck pack. Usually they're based around a planeswalker or they're based around a creature. It doesn't really matter which one you buy, just you can go online, again, you can look at the deck list, you can see which one suits your player type, and boom. And just like with the intro decks, they come with the 60-card decks. They come with a little strategy guide for these decks, which means it'll show you what you should be looking for, what kind of situation you want to build when you're playing that deck, as well as they come with a how to play insert. So it's sort of like you're getting the same perks as the intro decks, but instead of having to go out and buy 2 intro decks, you can go and you get one of these dual decks, and then you can play with your friend. The only thing you need to keep in mind though is that dual decks usually do not have cards that are in standard. So if you want to immediately right off the bat go play FNM, a dual deck won't help you. Another thing they build are the Clash packs, and they are not 60-card decks. You can't really They're more for casual players. They're semi-randomized. They are pretty fun. When my husband was in basic training, I actually sent him a couple of these so him and his friends could play together. And believe me, they really enjoyed it, and these are like 20-year-old men. So if someone who's been playing Magic for 10 years says that it's good, it's good. If you want to go, and if you just want to go make your own deck, I would suggest, usually this is sort of like a controversy thing, you can go online and you can look at deck lists. That means you can go online, even if you don't want to copy the decks that are in top 8. If you go to Star City, if you go to TCG, you can look at deck lists. You can see what cards are in what type of decks, if anything, to just get a general idea of what you want to make. Because deck building can be really hard, especially depending on the type of decks you want to run. But when you go card shopping, please, for the love of God, do not be above just buying singles with cash. I have seen a ton of new players say, oh, I can't afford that card, say it's a $20 card, and they'll go and they'll buy $30 worth of packs to get that $20 card. I saw it all the time. It drove me insane. I mean, sure, as a shopkeep, I was like, yes, sales! But as a player, I was like, what are you doing? So really, if you want to make your own deck, it will be a lot cheaper to just go and buy your singles. Now, if you just like opening packs like I do, sure, whatever, go buy as many packs as you want. But if you're looking for single cards, you're going to have a pretty tough time, and in the end, you're probably going to have to use the cards that you got out of those packs to trade or buy whatever you want. Something I would recommend any Magic player to get are fat packs. Fat packs are 9 boosters. They come with 2 deck boxes, but I mean they're paper deck boxes, so they're not the best out there. But still, you get the 9 boosters, you get a little spin down die, and you get a pack of land and an insert. The insert I think is really cool because not only does it give you a general idea of what's going on with the Magic storyline, but it also shows you all of the cards in that set, which means if you want to go and deck build, but if your internet goes out, but you want to see what's in a certain set, you can just grab one of those and boom. And when I say it shows you all of the cards in the set, I don't mean it has like a checklist, which, I mean, it does have, but it has a full card image gallery, so you can go through that guide, you can look at all of the cards, you can read them, you can see what artists drew or painted what cards. And unlike normal booster boxes, these fat packs have a very short run for printing. While boosters and booster boxes, I mean, you can get them for pretty much a full year pretty easily. Fat packs, they're only going to be available, for the most part, under normal circumstances, for the first couple months that the set is released. And a lot of players will say, yeah, I regret getting a fat pack from this, and this set. Even if it's just because of the box. The box is like a cool little collector's item. They also make us a pretty good way for storing cards if you want to. A lot of players will put their decks and their sideboards and extra sleeves in the fat pack boxes and use them as temporary storage and just take them to tournaments. It happens all the time. It's sort of like a fad, really. It's like a competition between who has the coolest fat pack boxes. Or at least at my store it is. Okay, something else to keep an eye out for are the yearly releases. From the vaults, they have really popular cards from that theme, like From the Vault Realms was all about lands, so Wizards took very popular lands from way back into Magic history. They either gave them new art or they just made them foil, and bam, they put them in that box. And really, there's no downside to actually buying it because the value always fucking skyrockets. And it makes it really hard for people like me who wasn't able to get all of them. And then there's From the Vault 20 that recently came out, which had things like Jace the Mind Sculptor and Chroma's Vengeance. And then From the Vault Legends, they printed a legendary creature card that hadn't even been printed yet. Like, see, there's really, like, they're the coolest things ever. From the Vault, they're just fun, they're cool, they're nice collector's items, and if you have the money to spare, I would highly suggest for Magic players to purchase these if they plan on playing in the long run. If you're just like, on the fence about it, you're not really sure if you're going to stay in the crowd, then maybe it's not the best purchase. But if you know you're going to be playing for a while, if you really like the game, that's something to keep an eye out for. I feel like there was more I had in mind, but I can't really remember it, so I will see you guys later. Peace.